Hi, this is an explanation for week 2. You are in the week 2 activities drop box. You're viewing the video. That's the first thing you'll do this week while you listen and watch my explanation for this week. Each week you will have a social emotional learning activity. I really believe in the social emotional learning curriculum. I feel it's as equally as important as the academic. And I would like to start off with a little pre-test, a little survey, a pre-survey about information you know. You'll be taking this survey again at the end of the 10 weeks and hopefully have learned some new information about social emotional learning to add to your repertoire. So if you want to click on the QR code, you can use it on another device, or you can click on the survey link. I am using this as part of a study, and I'm really hoping you'll volunteer to be part of the study. Your name will not be shared. There will be no information about you as a person. It will just say that it will be a student of mine or students of mine over a course of semesters and terms. But you do have an option to opt out. And it won't affect your grade whatsoever, whether you want to be a part of the survey or not. You will be completing the same activities as people in the study. It will be no different. I just won't be able to use your work, so I'm hoping you'll be agreeable to the fact that you don't mind me using it, and you'll be totally anonymous in regards to the survey. It won't mention you whatsoever in any of the work you do. It may be used as excerpts, but nobody will know it came from you. If you want to ask me some questions about that, please ask me. I'd be very glad to help you out. I'm here to protect your safety, your anonymity in my research, but I'd like to create some research on social emotional learning since it is a passion of mine, and I'd like to be a part of the literature in regards to social emotional learning. So I hope you'll be willing to do that. But that is the first activity that you're going to complete, and you will do that whether or not you are agreeable to the study. And each week will be the same thing. It will be part of the study, but you will have to complete it whether you'd like to be a part of the study or not. But I'm hoping you will do that for me. Read Chapter 2 in the Dynamic Social Studies textbook. It's Effective Instructional Planning. It's on page 32. You may not have your textbook yet. I know some people are ordering them and it's taking a little bit longer, but I can't photocopy. I can't provide a copy of the chapter according to copyright laws. So what you'll need to do is really take a look at the folder that you'll find on the main menu in Blackboard that says objectives and lesson planning, and you could probably, for the sake of these activities, use just that. But if you do have your textbook, please read, because you'll be needing to use your textbook for the major assignment of the unit planning. So you're going to work on writing objectives this week. So watch the video and view the resources to write objectives in the objectives and lesson plan folder. You will need to go out of this folder, which is your Dropbox, to go into that folder to view the video and check out the resources to write an objective. You'll be writing the objective in ABCD format. A is your audience, B is your behavior, C is the condition, and D is the degree. It's going to be observable and measurable. And you write this in this fashion, your instructional objectives, so that you can assess students for mastery level. This is exactly what you're doing, is creating an objective to make sure the students are mastering your material. If you find out that they didn't meet the objective or didn't master the material, then you'll have to think about another way to reteach them, maybe at a different time, maybe in a different modality. There could be a lot of ways to create. You would not teach the same content in the exact same way you did, because evidently they did not successfully master that material in that modality. So you may have to figure out a different way, and that's sometimes what teachers miss, because they don't write objectives and they don't know what the mastery level is. They don't know if the student is ready to move on to the next set of information, next content. Then with an objective, you know that when you're principal walks in your classroom and asks you, how do you know they've met that? You can show them the objectives you've created along the way that are measurable and that are observable. You can see the child actually doing the objective, and you can actually measure. That's what the degree is all about. So I want you to think about a hobby you have, and I want you to write your objective about your hobby. Don't write the name of the hobby, see if we can guess. So here's my example. Given a stack of new children's literature, the student will be able to select 2 books to be read in free time over the next month. That's my objective. Now, how do I know if that's in ABCD format? I'm going to break it down. A is the student will be able to. Now, you will say to me, don't all the students do it? Of course, but you only need to list it for an individual student, even though all the students may be accomplishing this objective. What's the behavior? What are they going to do that you're going to check their mastery level? In this case, they're going to read at least 2 books. And what's the condition? The condition is, what tools are you given? Well, you're given a stack of children's books that they can pick from, so hopefully they'll find 2 that are of interest to them. And what's the degree? They need to read 2 books over the next month. And if they don't read the 2 books over the next month, then they haven't met the mastery level, which was to read 2 books. Maybe I'm trying to increase their interest in a certain genre. Maybe I'm trying to just get them to be more interested in reading. Maybe we're having a little contest here in regards to how many books they can read. The minimum they have to read is 2 books. If they read more, then they have exceeded my expectations. If they read 4 books, and many of them may do that, that's great. And maybe I found out my mastery level is too low and I need to raise that in the next time I have them complete this objective. So here you see the ABCD. You don't have to write out ABCD like I have, but if you do, it just shows you'll be able to see if you've got all 4 parts of the objective. Is it measurable? Yes, I have measured it by saying they have to at least read 2. Sometimes you say 90%, sometimes you say 3 out of 5, sometimes you might say any kind of quantitative reasoning in regards to the objective. Is it observable? Well, actually, I can actually watch them read during free time. I can see if they are reading the book. I can also sit next to them and listen to them read and have them read out loud to me. So I know that they are reading the book. I may have a little assessment at the end. I may ask them, just tell me about the book. What went on in the book? Just to make sure that they have it so I can actually see that. So once you've posted so my hobby, of course, as you can see here, since I don't have very many hobbies, I would guess it would be my passion for children's literature. And I love collecting my children's literature books, and I love sharing them with people along the way. So once you've posted your objective, view your colleagues and comment on the objective. Can you identify all 4 parts of the objective? Is it measurable and observable? And what is the hobby of your colleagues? And you can comment in their section there. The last activity you're going to work on this week is to write a lesson plan. View the video explaining the Educational Studies lesson plan. Look at the Educational Studies lesson plan template. These are both in the Objectives and Lesson Plan folder. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to find a Social Studies lesson plan that's online. Now, that's not going to look like what would actually fit into our Educational Studies template. So what you're going to do is actually take that information from that lesson. So you don't have to create a lesson in your mind. You have one, and you're going to modify that so that you can add that information to the template. Now, there may be something from the template that's not in that plan. You're going to have to add that. Maybe the rationale isn't there. You're going to have to create what's the rationale for what you're doing. The lesson plan won't be divided into what would be the first part of the lesson, the body of the lesson, and the closing of the lesson. You will need to make sure you have done that. But you don't have to actually create a lesson plan from scratch. You can take one that's online, a social studies, and it doesn't have to be integrated with any other subject area, but it can be if you want, and you're going to actually create it. And then you're going to post this lesson plan in the lesson plan template, in the Educational Studies template. And then I'm going to review that and give you some feedback so that when you do go ahead and write other lesson plans, which you will be doing in this course, you will know what you need to make sure you have to get full credit in your lesson. That is all of the activities that you need to complete this week. I would be looking at your annual pacing schedule. That is due week 3, not week 2, and at the end of week 3, when you're completing your activities for week 3. And I would be taking a look at the templates for that. I would be looking at the assignment description and make sure that you have started putting some thoughts together, if not actually started it, because it's going to take you a while. It's one of the most major assignments that I have in this course, and it will take you a while. My previous students have told me that, wow, although it was overwhelming to look at, when they were able to figure out how to break down social studies into the whole year and what they were going to teach, they realized what went into social studies and the teaching of social studies and what was the content all about at a grade level. You're only creating it at one grade level, and you're creating standards, you're creating activities, you're going to include children's literature in that annual pacing schedule. There are some exemplars there. You can use the history, social studies history standards. Some of those standards are also the literacy and the writing standards. You're welcome to use those as well. And you're going to form standards that meet those unit topics that either are in a template. If you take a textbook that you have for a certain grade level in social studies, you're able to have access to that. You can create your own template by using the content from the social studies textbook. And you will get extra credit if you do that. So that's the information for this week. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask me. You can either jump online with me and Zoom during my office hours on Tuesday mornings at 11 o'clock. I can find another time for you if you're not available at that time, and I can Zoom with you at a time which is more when you are available. And or just send me emails and I will respond to emails within a day. It usually takes me about a day. It shouldn't take longer. If you don't hear from me within 24 hours, send me the email again and say, I just don't want you to miss this. I have a question. I try to answer quickly because I want you to keep working. And if I'm online, if I'm not at a meeting or doing something else that I can't be online, I'll try to check back and make sure that I answer your question as quickly as I can. So that's it. I will see you online this week.